conscious reason.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
it started
sir.
up again. No, we ain't gonna do it again. We ain't gonna do it again.
I
What's
said,
going on? Hey,
knock. Who's there?
hey, come on, let me in. Let me in. What that light?
What's that?
Seemed like I was going in and out. I don't know, tripping. But what we got for this quick session, man? What we talking about on
Man,
Kaleidoscope Conversations, topic number 2.
man. Topic number two. Man, what was topic number one? What was
Man,
topic
we
number
talked about
one?
a lot of things on topic number 1. We talked about intentionality reflects relationship. We talked about, potentials becoming actualities. We talked about a lot of stuff. You asked me if I believe it's true for everybody that people could, reach, be great, in a way. But that was
Hmm.
topic number 1. So not that's topic
Hmm.
number 2. We got to choose low
Well,
variation. We're gonna come back to topic number 1 eventually.
it's 2024, man. It's 2000 and Black Mamba to me. You dig?
Yes, it's
You know,
it's definitely 2024. We are recording this right after the new year. Yeah.
man. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New
Happy New.
Year. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New
Yeah,
Year.
yeah.
Yeah, but yo, so I mean, we could do something New Year's theme or whatever. What you think? What you got?
Man, I mean, New Year's theme, Who Year's theme. I mean, it's really nothing to me, man. I mean, we here to talk about diverse topics. So I mean, when we talking diversely about diversity, I mean, I feel like anything could come into the fold,
You're
man.
right. You're
We
right.
could continue to talk about how intentionality reflects relationship because it's necessary. It's a part of life. It's the way that you see continual progress and change and transformation in your life. So I mean, that could always be of interest. I mean, what you thinking? I mean, where's your spirit guiding you to today?
Man, hey
You know?
man, look, man, is I'm following. We both walking. You know what I'm saying? And so you hit that volleyball towards me, I'm gonna try to hit it right back towards you. You know what I'm saying? An amicable game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Volleyball. But since you mentioned intentionality, reflection, relationship, and I mentioned New Year, I can combine the two and say that instead of being intentional about a new year, we got to be intentional about a new moment.
Mm,
That's sky level. You know,
mm,
sky level. Certain birds, I believe it's the arrow hawk. Uh, I think that's one of them. The danger to the arrow hawk is how blindsided it becomes because when it sees something that is hunting, it'll swoop down and it swoops down at such a fast speed that usually what ends up happening is that it runs into a gate or a window or something like that. And at the speed it's going, it's done. It's a goner. You know what I'm saying? Kaput,
yeah.
stick a fork in it.
Yeah.
But when you move to sky level, you have this panoramic view and you can also choose to become laser focused. Not so laser focused and we'll be chasing after something, but become laser focused about what we're experiencing. And the way we become laser focused about the experience is to be grounded in the present because the earth and the ground and our bodies are always present in the present moment. Our bodies will never be present in the past, can't be present in the future. It's only present right now. So through using grounding exercises, grounding meditation exercises more specifically, we ground ourselves back to this present moment. And so intentionality reflects relationship as it applies to the present moment. You can only be intentional in the present moment. So the present moment is the vehicle through which the intentionality flows. Like it's the medium for your intentionality, the present moment. It can't exist no other time outside of this present moment. And whatever you're being intentional about, you reflect in relationship too. So, to move from the new year theme, to really understanding that we having new moments every single moment that we hear,
Mm, mm-hmm.
and then being intentional about those moments. That's how intentionality reflects relationship. You're forming a relationship with the present moment. And that's where all your power exists. So you want to live empowered for 2024, then develop a relationship with the present moment.
Mm, mm. So as you said, one of the ways to cultivate that relationship with the present moment is through grounding exercises. Could you kind of simplify and break down, what do grounding exercises look like? I mean, for those of us who aren't familiar with grounding exercises, we haven't really practiced that form of exercise at all. What is the grounding process like? What is that about?
And I'm gonna give you my version, and there may be hundreds of versions out there, but I can only give you what I have. So,
Oh, we want knock version. Yeah.
okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Knock knock. My version of grounding exercise really, you simply walk and you notice your feet and what it's experiencing. So you ask yourself, what is my foot experiencing? Since my foot is in the present moment. So then
Hmm.
you're doing a walking meditation, So you're grounding yourself to the body, which is always in the present moment. So a simple exercise is just being mindful while you walk, being
Hmm.
mindful while you eat, noticing how whatever the texture of the food that you're eating feels, taking time to really allow yourself to taste it, slowly chew, you know what I'm saying? Just feeling all the sensations. Now you being present with the experience of eating, being mindfully eating, and that grounds you to the present moment too.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, you got to be intentional about being grounded in the present moment where your power exists. I give power away when I think about the future. I give power away when I'm stewing over the past. You
Hmm.
know, that's why I say, the past is history, the future mystery, and today is a gift, which is why it's called the present. It's not so much that you forget the past, it's that you embrace it, you know,
Hmm.
realizing that none of us are infallible. And so noticing the innocence of our own fallibility is the way that we look at those more painful areas that are still underdeveloped. We got to bring compassion to those parts. If you bring compassion to them parts, you still with me? I can't hear you yet. I can't hear you at all. But you're not on mute, so maybe you need to go in and go back out. But if you do go in and go out, I'm gonna keep on flowing the way I'm flowing. Okay, he then went on out. And I have no idea what compassion. Yeah, you gotta bring compassion to those parts. You don't want to be judged. No part of you wants to be judged. So you don't want to be judged, and no part of you wants to be judged. And so if you bring judgment to those parts, like, oh, I wish I didn't, I should not have, so on and so forth. I wish I would have played this differently. If you bring in judgment to those parts are not gonna want to talk to you. And you need to hear what those parts are talking about. You know, this is not, this, and I'm not speaking from a place of dissociation, but integration. You already realize the division within yourself, and then speak light and truth to that division that you experience within yourself. The truth will make you freer. Truth and love are married. So anything unloving that we think about ourselves ain't true to begin with. And so we got to see through the distortion until we reach the truth, because falsehood or non-truth is superimposed. It superimposes itself on top of truth, you know? Just like
Hmm.
we need space for objects to appear in and us to perceive these objects that appear in these physical spaces, these almost voids, vacuums. Non-truth can't stand on itself. And so non-truth superimposes or puts itself on top of truth, which is why the best lies or the most skillful lies tell the truth.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yes, sir. Hey man, I just want to take a moment, man, and just hey, I'm looking. I'm glad you cut the light on, man. It's great to see you in this light. I mean, no pun intended, man.
hey,
I mean, you're really in the bag right now, flowing as usual. Like
hey,
come
I'm
on, man.
tapped in, man.
Hey, come on. It's so metaphorical, man. Like people need to stop sleeping on knock. You know what I mean? Like people need to stop sleeping on nocturnal, man. You
They
know
need
what
to
I mean?
stop
Like
sleeping on that truth, man. That's what they need to stop
yeah.
sleeping on, that truth, man. Their truth, which is ultimately my truth, which is, something I said before. No matter where you're standing on the planet, when you dig deep enough, we all reach the same center. So I don't even care what it is that you think that you know. Just know about what it is that you think that you know, and eventually you'll get to what it is that I know and that we know, and then those that came before me knew before I knew, and I'm still growing in my knowingness of what's already known by them, So it's a path of
Mm.
humility because there's always more to know as long as you're on this planet, but you got to lean into that discomfort and continue to choose to grow because change is inevitable, growth is optional. So you got to choose wisely, moment to
Yeah,
moment. So really it's
man.
about that truth, who's seeking truth, like really, who, and you got to have courage. Like that's the thing. It's scary. You got to have courage. It's scary for the ego, but you got to have courage to deal or pierce into a lie deep enough for you to get into that realm of truth that the
Mm.
lie covered up. You know, that's this faulty vision that we have. It becomes a veil to the truth. The ego is for the most part innocent. It's naive. That's where its innocence comes from. It's naivete, which is why it's always forgive them for they know not what they do, because we also need to forgive ourselves as we embrace more truth and realizing that while we thought we knew, we had no idea. But now I know. And so I'm gonna hold
Mm.
myself accountable for what it is that I know. And that represents that growth, that integration of that gained insight through that experience. Now I got true knowingness. You see, it doesn't just sit at the intellectual level. You got to actually practice and experience this thing, which means that sometimes you're gonna flop.
Mm.
You're gonna be a straight flunky out here in some of these tests, some of these little quizzes that pop up. You accept that. You initiate self compassion, and you forgive yourself along with that. You hold yourself accountable because now you know, since the non truth has revealed itself via pain, now you can scrape off that non truth, grab that truth, and then move forward. To forgive,
Mm.
to repent rather, is to change course, to do something different than what you did before. I will not do anything different than what I did before until I get more truth. The only way to get truth from this situation is to lean into the discomfort of looking at non-truth that's attached to this truth that's really scaring me. And the non-truth are all the dirty little things I think about others, and which really represents a projection about what I think about myself. And so since I judge myself and I can only give you what I have, I judge you too.
Mm.
Perception ain't real. Perception is reality for the ego, but perception ain't real. Perception is merely a projection. Reality for the ego becomes the movie screen. And all of the contents, all of the films, we've seen them before. They all rooted in fear. They have a fear theme, the scarcity mindset. What you about to say?
Oh, nothing, man. I'm listening. I'm listening. If I'm open my mouth, it's my sinus is still acting up, man. And that new year, that new year, man.
New
Taking it so
year.
I had to start off getting some rest, man. Shaking back.
Yes. Yes, that's understandable, you know. But really, getting back to what we were saying earlier on, unless you had something more to say about what was just said.
Well, man, we could take it back way earlier. I wanted to say that, man, until you started talking about those grounding exercises, I wasn't even thinking about my feet. I forgot I even had feet until you until you brought that back up. Look, oh, you know what? Yo, those are down there. You know what? And I
Real.
gratitude for that.
Yeah, like I move with those things, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, those are kind of, important to my,
Important.
upward
Right.
mobile mobility, But yeah, just grounding. And then in that grounding state, there's less fear.
Mm,
In that grounded state, there's less fear, which means that there's less distortion, which means that whatever you are processing, you can cease from pushing or pulling away. You don't need to push away an experience you don't want if it's there,
mm.
because whatever you resist persists. By pushing it away, you ensure that it remains because intentionality reflects relationship. So if I'm intentional about pushing away an object, I make that object more real just by my interaction, my intentional interaction with that object. So when I interact with my fear, wherever attention goes, energy flows. I feed my fear. Intentionality reflects relationship. So I have to be intentional about my love walk as opposed to my fear walk. Feed your faith and your doubt will have no choice but to starve to death, you
So
know?
So what we do with that fear? I mean, do we just put on this mindset of it doesn't even exist? We don't acknowledge it at all. What do we do with that fear?
Is there first you allow it to come and go. Allow yourself to process it. One mindfulness exercise is RAIN, where you first recognize whatever emotion you're experiencing, and then you move into a space of acceptance, which is the first factor of the lit effect. Acceptance is the first stage because you can't change what it is that you don't accept. And so, with the lit effect, acceptance is the very first stage because you have to learn how to be non-judgmental in this space. And so you accept your emotion without judgment. And then you move into investigating that experience or emotion with curiosity, not with judgment, with curiosity. If you become curious about yourself like a child, adopt a beginner's mind, free from judgments, and just look at yourself, then you can see with more clarity. And then you can move to N, which is to nurture, give yourself what you need. Or for me, I like the practice of non-identification. For me, I non-identify with those judgments and the way that I viewed myself in that space because that represents the little me. Judgment represents the little me, the me that's trying to judge everything as good or bad, right or wrong. And if I don't like it, then it's wrong. But if I
Hmm.
like it, then it's right. But not everything that tastes good is good for you.
I,
You
so
know?
I like I like what you said there. You said it's about non-identification. With that fear, I think I think that's a level up from trying to ignore it or not acknowledging it. Like you said, kind of like letting it come and go. I could definitely see the power in that. That's pretty good.
Mhm. Yeah. And be
Non-identify with that. That's not me. Like you said, well, if it is me, it's the little me. It's the lower level frequency me. So
That's it. It's the you that's energized by fear, which really shrinks it. But it uses fear. Like that's its addiction because it comes from the scarcity mindset.